So stage 5 coming up today. A little bit of an in-between stage, I would say. There's some climbing, but not super hard, long climbs like we already did before. So can be a day for a breakaway. So I think we should be paying attention to what's going to happen. Or maybe if there's a lot of teams with sprinters, then can also still be a sprinting stage if they survived the hills before. So we'll see what today will bring. For sure, it's going to be a hot day again. So drinking all day, a lot of ice, more drinking. So that's the most important thing for today.
We were ushered into this episode with a morning audio diary from Mareille Meijering of Movistar, and now on to stage 5 of the Giro d'Italia. Hello and welcome back to the Wheel Talk Podcast Giro edition. We're into stage 5, only 3 stages to go after today. Crazy. And I'm joined by Rebecca Charlton.
Hello, great to be back. Thanks for having me again.
You actually got some downtime in between recording this podcast and commentating today.
I did. You'd think that I would have come up with some absolute genius insights, wouldn't you? And probably hoping for that. But just trying to think what I actually did on the train. I think I actually did nod off for about 15 minutes. So we'll definitely benefit from that in the podcast. And created a reel from all the footage from today and put it on Instagram. So I don't know that I've digested much more than my initial excitement after the stage, but looking forward to unpacking it all nonetheless.
Well, it wasn't as exciting a stage as yesterday, perhaps, but we did come out of it with a lot to take us into the 6th stage, we'll say.
We did.
Lotte Kopecky won the stage in a sprint after a phenomenal lead out from her SC Works Pro Time teammates, especially Barbara Garishi, who brought her into the final corner, and we will talk about that. In winning the stage, she got 10 bonus seconds, which means that she is now only 3 seconds away from the pink jersey, still on the back of Elisa Longoborghini, going into the 6th stage, which is just absolutely brutal looking. It is constant up and down. There is zero rest, and it ends on a hilltop. It kind of flattens out at the top of a hilltop. So could definitely be a GC day tomorrow, especially with the 2 top riders in the GC at the moment. Let's dive into it. Lotte Kopecky. I mean, it's so funny because I was writing the race report and I wrote 2nd stage win of the race because it's at stage 5. You'd have assumed she would have already won a stage at this point, and the whole season kind of blends together. And then I was like, oh no, wait, she hasn't won a stage yet. So her first Giro stage win of the year, but much like that one guy from the Avengers movie, Lotte Kopecky is inevitable.
I love your setups and your analogies. So, Lotte Kopecky, I just found myself just talking about her so much in the lead-in in commentating today. And you know, when I just couldn't take my eyes off her, and I knew that this was I was going to say like last big chance. It was the last chance for the sprinters, wasn't it? There's no ambiguity on the final stages as to whether we're going to see a sprint. We're just not. It's absolutely brutal. And of course, we've got the Queen stage coming up with the blockhouse twice and then a little bit more. And we know that we're not going to see the sprinters in contention for that. So we knew we were very, very likely to have a sprint on our hands. But I couldn't take my eyes off Kopecky because I just thought, of course, she had that perfect lead out. But just watching her kind of physically in the bunch, like you could see that she was just on for it. Like she came into this race saying, of course, day by day, as we usually expect from Kopecky, she's not going to give it all away. And she didn't say anything about going for the GC. It was, we're here for looking for a stage win hunting, and we'll look at each day as it comes. But that said, she is or was so close in that GC coming into today, and she knew she could edge herself right up with another 10 seconds if she took it on the line. And so just watching her just subtly and confidently as ever, just little barge here and there, little nudge here and there, and just kept putting herself back into position exactly where she wanted to be. And I just thought She is going to throw absolutely everything at taking this today. And as I say, I just couldn't keep my eyes off her. And then I think because of that turn coming at about 250 meters to go, those gaps opened up and she was just gone. I mean, the absolute explosion. And I know that we roll out all these cliches about her ability in so many different directions of this sport, but the fact that we know it's a sprint day and she's not only there, but she's gapping everyone out of that turn like so massively by several bike lengths, leaving the other sprinters in her wake. I just think, what a day for her. But I could just see the conviction. I just knew she was going to go for it, and I just saw it in her body language really early on.
I don't know. I feel like I agree that she just looks so collected on the bike. Like no matter what the race situation is, she always just looks so calm. Like she would be a rider who, if I was still racing and I rode by her in the bunch, I'd be terrified because it would be like, what is she going to do? Because she looks like she's just out for a stroll with her dog. And so I agree on that front. But I do think that she's lost a bit of her sprinting edge. And I think the reason she was able to win this stage and win it so convincingly wasn't so much her sprint, which is still very good, to be fair, but was actually just Barbara Garishi's sprint, because her sprint was like, could have won the race herself had the roles been reversed. And she just carried Kopecky way ahead of everyone else. The race was won before they even really had to sprint. She said after the race that Baby G, when she passed Baby G, she was like, yes, you've got it. So she already knew that she'd won before she even really opened up the sprint. It was just such an amazing lead out by SC Works Pro Time. And they had Elena Cecchini leading into that corner first. And so they had, a lot of firepower going into that sprint. And I think Kopecky's a very interesting character this year because she is adapting so much as a rider. And I think we'll have a lot more to say about this on Saturday, but she has lost like an edge of the sprint, and that winning the sprint today, like it's not like she's up against, the best sprinters in the peloton. Balsamo abandoned the stage early, unfortunately, due to inflamed tonsils. She's having just like the year from hell. I feel so sorry for her. And I hope that she's able to feel a bit better before the Olympics, which are closing in really, really fast. And the track at the Olympics is a huge goal for her. So really, really hoping that she can, turn that around. And Chiara Consoni gets better and better every time. But I think Kopecky, like, this was a full team effort.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. And I'm glad you've said that because it's so important to note, you just saw the absolute devastation that lead out did. And the gaps, as you say, were already there. I mean, she unleashed the power in the final. However, positioning, confidence, getting it right, being well protected, being in the right place was absolutely everything, because we did see that go wrong for the other teams ultimately. I feel like, Chiara Consoni will be disappointed with today. Of course she will be. But I think coming into the stage, she sort of said, like, the pressure, of course, comes off a little bit when you've already got a stage win in this stage race. On the scale of the Giro, it's kind of, you don't think job done, I'm not going to go for it again, of course. But, I think that disappointment will be a little bit softened by the fact that they've already done what they've done earlier in the week. But they're sprinters, they're bike racers, they want to win. And people did make mistakes in that run in. It did end up becoming quite ragged in the technical turns. You had to be so well positioned, and SD Works has got absolutely everything right. And like you say, it was just the confidence and conviction and experience that really paid off today, rather than it just being like a head-to-head to the line.
Yeah, I mean, the coming into the sprint, it was like so hectic. There were just people all over the place. Like teams were losing each other left, right, and center. I was really hopeful for Ruby Rose McGannon at one point, but AlUla Jayco just seemed to really lose control of their lead out after having a solid run in for a good couple kilometers. And Consoni also had like a really good lead out at one point, and then things just kind of fell apart. It felt like, SC Works was really just the only ones that were able to like stick together, which we've seen time and time again. We saw it at the UAE Tour over and over again, and we're just seeing it again here with...
Yeah, we are missing sprinters, of course. We haven't got Charlotte Kool there. We haven't, of course, got Weavers there, because they're going to look at the stage by stage of the Giro and go, I mean, there's not the biggest amount of opportunities when you look at the numbers there. But yeah, I don't think you can take anything away from her win today. But it turned out to be a really interesting run-in. But Elisa Balsamo, it's just, again, mixed emotions, because I just want luck to be on her side. She has been through so much, as you say, and we just want a good run of luck for her. We want her to be well and safe and upright. And it's been really hard watching her go through all of it. And, showing her unicorn spirit animal on the footage at the start today, she's just such a wonderful character and so strong mentally and physically to have even got back on the bike, let alone back into contention to take third on stage 2. I thought was really remarkable, because to have the head to get in a bunch sprint, it's not just the physicality to do it. To have come back from 2 facial surgeries in bunch sprints and then to absolutely commit yourself to that again, you cannot say enough just how tough that would have been for her head to get back in that space to do it. But I'm glad. We are going to so miss her. Well, we missed her today in that finish, but I'm so glad that she's made a decision for her health, because, of course, the Olympic Games is the next target. There's so much else in her undoubtedly long career ahead. And so I think pressing through today whilst on antibiotics with inflamed tonsils, feeling absolutely grim, would have been really the wrong thing to do.
Yeah, definitely. And I feel like it's important to point out that this is like the second year of setbacks that she had. She had a horrendous crash last year where she went through the back of the car during Ride London and had to, get her face reconstructed. So it's not only the Vuelta Burgos crash that she's coming back from. She already came back from a horrendous injury last year. So it's not like this was her comeback year, and she was riding so well in the beginning of the season, like winning races again, and it all looked really good. And so it's just like heartbreaking that she's going through all of this again this year. And to have to drop out of the Giro is devastating. But we have an audio diary from Lizzie, so I wonder what she's got to say.
So we are day 5 in the Giro, and it was 108k today, pretty undulating. It was kind of proposed to be our last sprint day. I think if the peloton had wanted it to be, it could have been a different day. But I think everyone was of the mindset that it was the last chance for the sprinters ahead of the next 3 days, which are pretty crazy hard. So yep, the peloton wanted a sprint, and that's what they got. Unfortunately, we lost Bartzi early on. She was feeling not very well since the start of the Giro, actually, and decided today was the day to kind of stop and hopefully recover. So our main kind of goal for the team was to protect the pink jersey and just get through the race safely. Lucinda Brand also broke a finger yesterday trying to catch a bottle. So it was about making sure that she stayed safe as well and out of trouble. So mission accomplished there. I punctured with 10 kilometers to go, so I never got back to the front. But if there was a day to have a puncture, it was today. So all in all, a good day for the team, and we're ready for the real Giro to start tomorrow.
For Lidl-Trek, once they didn't have Balsamo in the race, they kind of just let the rest of the peloton do their work. And Elisa Longoborghini said after the race that their whole goal today was just to conserve energy, because tomorrow is going to be really challenging. And then it really obviously picks up on Saturday and Sunday. So their only interest today was to not waste energy, to stay cool, to just focus on, staying upright and not using as much watts as possible.
Completely. And I think this is why I keep looking forward towards these final stages, because the sheer amount of climbing, it's been so exciting to see Lidl-Trek ride it so conservatively and so well and so measured over the opening stages to keep Elisa Longoborghini in pink as priority. But I have to say, sorry to say it in these terms, but anything can happen when it explodes on these big mountain climbs. And at the moment, we are obviously fascinated that Kopecky saying no GC ambitions is currently sat so close now to Longoborghini at the top, setting us up to go into these final 3 stages. Yes, that's a very, very small gap and it's really exciting, but the time gaps that we could potentially see if someone blows on the blockhouse, for example, or even tomorrow, there's just so much elevation gain. We just don't know, and it is still open. That's the thing. And I think that I don't know about you, but I think Lidl-Trek have ridden a really, really smart race so far.
I agree. I think they've been really, really calculated in where they've spent their efforts, and it's been impressive to see. I think had Balsamo been able to sprint today, they probably would have backed her for that, not only because a stage win is a stage win, but also because then she would have taken those 10 seconds that now has Kopecky 3 seconds back on the pink jersey. So that would have been the ideal situation for them. But without that as an option, they've played the smartest race that they possibly can. And yes, maybe it could have backfired on them yesterday on stage 4, but it didn't. They managed to come away, still in pink, in the pink jersey, in the lead, and it's going to take everything that they have, every single thing that they have in their arsenal to keep the jersey on Saturday. So tomorrow, I think there's a real possibility that Kopecky could take it off of Elisa, but I think that when it comes to the climbing on Saturday, that's obviously where we're going to see the real GC battle happen, and that's where questions about Kopecky's climbing ability are going to be answered, and Elisa's as well. And I think Elisa's been used the least amount of energy that she possibly could up until this point. And we're all looking at Saturday, but tomorrow is also going to be a really important day for the pink jersey.
Really, really important. And I have to keep reminding myself that we didn't see the final of Strada Bianca, because that climb was just like an absolute vision of similarity, wasn't it? Including the turn into the line. But I loved the absolute fire between Longo Borghini and Kopecky coming up to the line there. And that was just a statement of intent, wasn't it, from Elisa? Like, psychologically, I'm going to get you to the line here because I want to know that I can. And I just love that battle is on. But yeah, the proof's going to be in the pudding on the Queen stage. It's absolutely huge. And I just want to know. I just want the answers, Abby. I want to know now. Are they going to climb? Are they going to exceed our expectations? But then, you've got Gaia Railini in Lidl-Trek, and you've got Neva Fisher-Black in SD Works. So it's not like you've got to look to one team that doesn't have the climbing power in it. But of course, other contenders.
Yeah, the race is still wide open. We've got... two riders kind of in contention at the moment, but that means pretty much nothing at the moment. Like, that's going to go straight out the window on Saturday. So there's still a lot to play for. We have another audio diary from Josie Nelson of DSM-Firmenich PostNL. No castles for them tonight, but she does mention how hot it was. And I think that we at home just cannot appreciate the heat that these women have been racing through.
We had another sprint stage today, but this time a bit more rolling, a few kickers, still a really fast pace and hot again. Each day seems to be getting hotter as we head more south down Italy. Our main plan was to try and get in the breakaway with Franzi, but nothing was sticking. So then we would go for the sprint with me, but I was just feeling really tired today, didn't have the legs. So we decided to sprint with Franzi instead, as she was feeling really good. I think the temperature peaked at about 39 degrees today. So to try and keep as cool as possible, we just go back to the car for ice and bottles so that we're drinking enough. And on the flatter stages like this, you're just constantly seeing girls coming to and from the car to get bottles for their teammates in the musette bags, or they're all just shoved in their jersey.
We've got another one from Mareille Meijering of Movistar.
Today was a day for me to relax a little bit. Our hotel was really close to the finish of yesterday, so yesterday we could go by bike back to the hotel. But that also meant that today we had a transfer of around 1 hour to the start. But luckily, because the stage was not that long, the start was a little bit later than the days before. So not such an early start today, so a little bit of time to relax. And for me also during the stage, it was maybe a possibility of a breakaway, but my teammates were really good at covering most of the attacks today, but nothing really went away. And I could just keep quiet and save a little bit of energy for the next couple of days, that it will be very tough probably. And in the end, it turned out to be a sprint, and a super great sprint from Arlene, who became third. So super great job of her. Now just the transfer to the hotel was around 1.5 hour again, but ready to go for the last couple of days. That will be really hard with a lot of climbing left. So I'm really excited for that.
We've got 2 more audio diaries, actually. Just a jam-packed episode for everybody today of audio diaries. We've got actually a Canyon-SRAM audio diary from yesterday from Maike van de Duin, and I cannot wait to hear what she had to say about yesterday, because it was a big day for them. She was really happy to see Soraya Paladin up there in second, and I think going into the 6th stage, it's going to be a huge day for Canyon-SRAM. They are going to be really excited about that stage. I think they have really good options. They've, like Lidl-Trek, the 2 of them, their 2 GC riders, Neve Bradbury and Antonia Niedermeyer, have been biding their time, waiting for the proper moment. And they are probably the strongest climbing team in the race. So when it comes to the 7th stage, they're going to be a team that we see a lot out of. So let's really quick go back in time and hear what Maike van de Duin said about stage 4.
Hello, today was stage 4 of Giro Italia, and it was a really hot day out. It was around 36 degrees, so wow, our staff did a really good job. I think, well, actually I have to ask how many bottles they made for today, but it will not surprise me. It will be around like more than 100. I don't know. We had a lot of ice cubes. We had ice vests. We were prepared in the best possible way. So big shout out to our staff today. I think for them I'm sure for them it's a super hard job to get everything going smoothly in this kind of weather conditions. And for us was a super good day out with the team. We were taking care of Antonia and Neve for GC, and they were all in the same time, so that's super. And Soraya and Elise were on fire in the breakaway, in the last part of the race. And Soraya made it to 2nd place today. I think we as a team, we are really happy about how we did again today. We are in a good vibe this week. We have a really nice atmosphere together with everyone. But for sure, we are still really hungry for that stage win. So 4 days left. Yeah. Ciao.
So today there was no hope of a breakaway at all. A lot of solo attacks. Every single one of them failed. But tomorrow, is it another breakaway day? Is it going to be another 2-stage race? Kopecky compared tomorrow's stage to stage 4, but a harder version of it. So are we going to see a repeat? Who do I pick for my fantasy team?
I can't answer this for you, not least because I am the journalist that is known for sitting so far up on the fence that I just can't commit. Because what I tend to do in my predictions is, as you know, I'll start off in one place, then I'll also counter that by trying to completely contradict myself in one sentence and then go back to where I was originally and then say, well, anything can happen, it's all wide open. So but then, going back to, I'm doing a Kopecky in her interviews when she says, she said something, have you seen the profile? It's way too hard. And then, of course, she's up there. So let's see.
I don't know. I think tomorrow is a Kopecky day for sure. If it's not a breakaway day, then it's a Kopecky day. But one team that we might see up trying to get into a breakaway, AlUla Jayco, which is our final audio diary of the day. And we're going to sign out. Back with you tomorrow. Stage 6 is probably the stage that I'm the second most excited for, actually, after stage 7. I just don't know how it's going to go. So, Rebecca, Bex.
All of the above.
Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me, Abby. Pleasure as always.
Today was another hot day on the menu. It wasn't
as bad as yesterday, I would say. Still hot, but yeah, I guess everybody was a bit tired from yesterday's hard stage, and we took it a bit, not easy, but a bit more controlled. I think everybody was really focusing on just, cooling down, taking lots of fluids. There are 3 hard stages coming up. Got to catch up a little bit with the girls again. Yeah, just compared our notes about the hotels so far this year. Yeah, normally good ones. Just a few of us didn't really have proper air conditioning last night, so yeah. I think it's interesting now to just share stories like this. So as you roll out of the neutral and you just chat a little bit. So that was nice. But then it's kind of rolled into a pretty hectic sprint in the last 10K or so, and we just tried to keep Ruby in a really good position. We have more of a climbing team here, so it was a struggle for everybody, but everybody did really well, I think, and in the end just a bit of bad luck that kept our last lead out girl behind after one crash. And but Ruby still sprinted great in the top 10, I think 6th place. So it's not perfect, but it's I think we did what we could, and we're looking forward to a lot of climbing to come. I think there were lots of jokes going around today that we kind of went past the half point of this Giro, but if you look at the altitude meters to still be climbed, we are not there yet. So it's going to be a hard few days, and we see. But we have a really good team for the next few days, and we hope the plan comes together. On another note, my suitcase keeps getting heavier and heavier for the staff to carry it around. It's just friends of friends bringing gifts, taking one piece of fruit too much, and then being a bit sorry to leave it behind, and then everything just starts piling up in the suitcase. Also the starts are starting to get early now. Tomorrow really early wake up time, I think 6:45. So it's not something I look forward to, but it'll be a long day, and maybe it's better to start before it gets really, really hot. Anyway, off to sleep now. 6:45 is not a normal wake up hour for me.